After a lumpectomy, there are simple strategies that you can use to reduce the pain and to get back to your normal life faster.
Getting a lumpectomy is a scary procedure.
Of course, no one wants to go through surgery, but having a surgery to remove cancer, well, that can definitely make you anxious. So whether you have a lumpectomy coming up in the future, or if you're deciding between a lumpectomy or a mastectomy, or even if you've already had your lumpectomy, this video is a must-watch for you. This is how you're going to breeze through your lumpectomy procedure by knowing these 15 things. So what exactly is a lumpectomy? A lumpectomy is a surgical procedure that involves removing a breast tumor or lump and preserving as much normal and healthy breast tissue as possible.
It's a common surgery choice for treating breast cancer.
And the surgery itself is actually pretty quick. It lasts about an hour or so. But before we dive in, it's important to know that everyone's experience, it's unique. Remember that your recovery path, well, it's probably going to have some twists and turns. Now, you definitely need to know about these 15 things you should expect after a lumpectomy, but you're also going to want to embrace the unpredictability. Okay, so let's dive into these 15 things you should expect after a lumpectomy. Starting with number 1, pain and discomfort. This is a surgical procedure, so there's going to be some pain and discomfort in the days following. That's normal. Your body has undergone some pretty significant transformation, and it's going to take a while to readjust. The discomfort after a lumpectomy is pretty manageable, and it tends to go away in a couple of days. As a gentle reminder, patience is key. Now, the recovery time for a lumpectomy is relatively quick, but you still need to be a bit patient. And that brings us to number 2, sharp shooting pain. Now, sharp shooting pain is often something that's felt by women after a lumpectomy.
This is actually very common and normal.
It's a sign that your nerves are actually waking up and reconnecting. And it's often described as sharp shooting pain, and this is quite normal. And number 3 is do not suffer. Let's have a little heart-to-heart about pain management. Many women that I work with in the Cancer Freedom Program, well, they really struggle with pain management. They don't like to take pills or medications, so they just think they'll tough it out. But look, the last thing that you need is to suffer unnecessarily. Your team will give you strategies to manage your pain, like over-the-counter products or prescription medications, and take them as they suggest. It's much easier to control your pain from the start than to try to get it under control after it's snowballed out of control. Remember, reaching out does not make you weak.
Needing pain control does not make you weak.
It makes you proactive in your recovery. As a cancer survivor myself, I know what surgical pain feels like all too well. After an extensive surgical procedure, I struggled with pain management, but I also didn't want to take too many medications. This actually put me in a position where I wasn't able to really rest or sleep at night. Eventually, I needed to break down and take the pain medications. Now, my entire recovery would have been so much faster had I just been more proactive about my pain management from the beginning. And on to number 4, swelling. Swelling is your body's way of overcoming the challenges it's facing.
Your breast might feel like a balloon that's being inflated, but that's actually part of the healing process.
This swelling is your body's way of coping with the surgical procedure. The swelling can also make your skin feel tight and uncomfortable. Applying ice packs and resting will help the swelling come down and will give you some comfort. And since we're talking about swelling, we also need to talk about compression garments. That's number 5. Compression garments might just become your new best friend. These snug-fitting pieces of clothing provide gentle pressure and compression so that they actually help with the swelling process and speed up your healing.
Your team will help direct you on when you can start wearing them and for how long.
Compression garments can be a very supportive companion in your healing experience. But along with the swelling comes lumpiness. After a lumpectomy, your breast might feel lumpy around the surgical site or just in general. This is actually normal as your surgeon has had to move breast tissue around to fill in the hole where the lump was removed. The lumpiness will actually gradually soften over time. Less common than lumpiness of the breast is actually a seroma. A seroma is when fluid collects in the area where the lump was removed.
Now, instead of that lump, you feel a bit of fluid kind of swooshing around inside.
Often the body will just reabsorb this fluid and it'll go away. But if it doesn't go away with time, then your team can use a needle to gently extract that fluid. And number 8 is scars. You will have scars where the surgery happened. This is bound to happen after surgery. Initially, the scar will look kind of raised and reddened, but eventually over time, it will start to lay flat and fade away. Scars are a mark of your strength and resilience, what you've faced head on. But if you do want to get rid of those scars or lessen them over time, then I have strategies for that too. On to number 9, embrace scar massage. Scar tissue can cause a lot of discomfort long term, and there's an easy way to minimize it. Scar massage.
Massaging your scar regularly and consistently can actually help speed up the healing process.
It breaks down scar tissue and will eventually help the scar fade. It's easy to do, just 15 to 20 minutes a day. But before you dive into scar massage, make sure you check with your team that it's okay for you to start. What you're going to do is rub gently along the incision, then across the incision, and then in circular motions all around the incision. Okay, and on to number 10, use silicone strips. Silicone strips have been shown to act directly on the scar's appearance and also penetrate a little bit into the skin. This can help with the appearance of scars significantly. All you need to do is wear the strip on your scar overnight.
This will allow for a lot of time between the silicone strip and the scar to allow for optimal healing.
This is something you'll be able to start once your scar heals sufficiently. But make sure to check with your team to make sure it's safe to start using this product. I'll link up a product below so you'll know where to go when you're ready to start. Okay, but scars are permanent, but what about something more temporary? That brings us to number 11, bruises. Okay, brace yourself because you may notice some beautifully colorful bruises around your surgical site. While they might seem alarming, bruises are generally temporary. If the bruise is soft, it will gradually be reabsorbed by your body and eventually just fade away over time. But if the bruise is associated with swelling and gradually increasing in size over time, then this is something you want to get checked out with your team ASAP. This could be a sign of bleeding and needs to be addressed. All of these changes in your body, both short-term and long-term, they can be really alarming. But healing, it isn't just skin deep. While the physical healing process is evident, we also need to pay attention to the emotional or mental healing process. Take time to rest and research your surgical procedures or conditions, but also take time to do things that you just like and connect with the ones you love.
We often focus on the physical recovery, but completely and totally ignore the mental and emotional recovery.
Okay, and the next thing you should expect after a lumpectomy is low energy. It's normal to feel a little bit more fatigued than usual. That's your body's way of saying, hey, I'm healing here. After all, your body is orchestrating a very complex healing process. Give yourself some moments to rest and rejuvenate. Eventually, you'll regain your energy, especially if you focus on proper nutrition. Which actually brings me to number 13, your food matters. Do not underestimate the power of proper nutrition. A balanced, nutrient-dense diet actually provides you with the building blocks you need for healing. And here is where to focus your energy: lean protein and hydration. When you're recovering from surgery, it's difficult to eat fruits and veggies when you really don't feel well. What your body needs to heal is protein, so focus your energy there. Food is actually a large piece we focus on in the Cancer Freedom Program. There are actually many things you can do with your food before surgery to help speed up the healing process afterwards. And there are a ton of things you can do with your food post-op to actually help support recovery. Okay, but on to number 14, exercise post-lumpectomy. You'll be given some type of guideline in terms of how much or what type of exercise you can do after your lumpectomy. Many surgeons will say no strength training or weightlifting for about 6 weeks after surgery, for example. But do not misinterpret this as no exercise, because you can still walk, and you should still walk. Doing gentle walking can actually help with your recovery. This is a great way to focus your energy during those periods of surgery restrictions. And that leads us to number 15. When can I go back to my normal routine? Not just exercise, but everything. That is a very personalized timeline. Your body's healing process is just as unique as you are. Pay attention to the healing signs that your body is sending you. Now, you may heal faster or slower than others, and that doesn't make it better or worse, it just makes it different. Okay, so those are the 15 things that you should expect after a lumpectomy. But since you want to know about a lumpectomy, you probably also want to know about a mastectomy. That's exactly why I'm linking up this next video here. Click the link here. I'll see you in the next video.